Nation. This is your Real Red Reaction Show on Lincoln's KFOR. Call the show now at 402-489-1240.
Welcome to it. It is Real Red Reaction time, powered by your friends at Slim Chickens. 489-1240. A 68 spot hung on Akron, who still lives up to their nickname, the Zips. They have yet to score, and Nebraska's first shutout since 2009, and a monster total yardage number. It looked like it was supposed to. Bill Hook's with us from Morning Hookup. Justice Rhodey in studio. Elijah Herbal is also in the KFOR studios. Numbers to get in, 489-1240, 489-1240, or 800-825-5865. The Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, should be along. Fellas, a banner night for Nebraska football. You have the confidence in a tight win Thursday in Arrowhead. You couple that with a monstrous offensive performance. Caleb says the Skurs by 100 million. The only sad thing tonight for Nebraska was a lonely-looking punter from Australia wondering if he was going to get on the field.
Well, apparently,
and Archie did not. I was wondering, fellas, if they were going to take three knees to get him out there so mom and dad could watch him. They didn't.
Well, they got to see him at Arrowhead. I feel bad. Apparently, there was a whole Inside Edition crew following him around today doing a story on Archie Wilson. They didn't get to see him go out there once.
No, there was the proverbial, this thing's a bloodbath. Let's find mom and dad in the crowd and sit with them while there's another poor drive by Akron. Look, this thing looked like it was supposed to look in Nebraska. Were they going to sleepwalk or were they going to come out on fire? Aside from getting stopped, you got to start with the goal line stoppage with the Harburg package that didn't get in, and then the Emmett fumble. Those are the only two complaints, and there's probably not really any complaints tonight because it's been a long time, fellas, since you rock and rolled like this. Dylan Raiola on fire, completed his first 9 throws. Monster game for him. Latif got in, looked incredible. Emmett was nice, and I like the double tight, the heavy set in that ace formation. Elijah, will go to you with the run game because Nebraska did what they wanted. They ran for 2 bills. They threw for 7,000 yards tonight, 494 to be exact. 4 touchdowns, all 4 to Dylan, and Barney had a big night. How about old Cade Piedzak? He was getting off the line and doing some nice things. We'll get our comments. Always find us on the stream. Do so with the Average Joe Sports Show and Real Red Reaction. Also on Twitter, AJ Sports Radio and Real Red Reaction. But we'll go around the horn here as Kobe says, Hooksy, didn't know you stayed up this late. Only see you on the morning hookup. Thanks for the shout out, Kobe.
Awesome. Thank you, Kobe. I got to tell you, boys, here's the deal. We talked about this. It was all about optics tonight, right? We knew what was going to happen. You heard Mickey Joseph talk about like Grambling and Ohio State. Akron knew what was going to happen tonight. We didn't really care about them. It was the optics. You look at some of those stats. Dylan stretching the field a little bit, over almost 12 yards per attempt there. You got Emmett, almost 10 yards a pop. The optics were there tonight for Nebraska. And, fellas, being in the stadium, it was a big party. That was owed to Nebraska fans that enjoyed every bit of this. They have not seen something like this in a long time. An opponent comes to town, you know what you feel like is going to happen, and it happens. So optic-wise, it felt really good to see some of that. TJ gets in. He looked good. Just so many of those things. Now, question being is, did we find a number 2 running back quite yet? That'd be a question. Still,
I love what I saw from Mosey runs hard. Man.
Mosey ran hard, was good out of the backfield, and Pritchett didn't get in till late in the ball game. But my God, when he got in on Ives's 29-yard jaunt, you had the whole entire left side of the line collapse thanks to big old Pritchett and that wham block there by Carter Nelson. But I love Nebraska's run game out of that ace formation. And the way they were able to tote it 200 yards. Will Compton tweeting out an ode picture to Dana Holgerson as Dana's finding a little zen on the sideline. Says my OC. And no, the Huskers didn't score 100 tonight. They could have, but they kept pace, right? When we talk optics, we know that Minnesota put up 60-something. We know that Utah is doing bad things. And I know they're not in the Big Ten, but there's a whole lot of cupcakes on the schedule for a lot of teams tonight. And Nebraska did their part. They unloaded on a team that, well, they'll have to go into week 3, fellas, waiting to score their first points of the season. That is a pretty big statement. But the statement made the night Nebraska handled their business. We'll have comments from Matt Rule and his post-game presser. But it looked crisp. You had plays downfield. You had a lot of gash plays on offense, Elijah, Bill, and Justice, where Nebraska did go downfield. There was no such thing as the Iron Dome tonight with the Akron defense. And then you were cranking out, 7.1 per carry. Well-balanced offense, and Nebraska did what they needed to do.
Yeah, Nebraska did what they needed to do, and what they needed to do was, I said it all week long. This game needed to look like Nebraska against Akron. This game didn't even look like Nebraska against Akron. This looked like Nebraska against, well, I said on Twitter, Idaho State.
Arkansas Baptist,
like name your school. That's what it looked like. Nebraska made Akron look like a non-FBS team. That being said, I do think Akron pretty early on in this one, which I said pregame, they realized what was going to happen pretty early. They had that look in their eyes of, at least optically, I didn't look into any one of the players' eyes personally. That'd be a little strange. It did look, though, from an optics point of view, like that team went, and Nebraska was supposed to do this. They got punched in the mouth, and they went, okay, we're here for the paycheck. Nebraska did what they were supposed to do from that point on. I loved the fact that Nebraska did not pack it in and stop running up the score. You got to get all the reps in you can before Michigan comes to town. Whether that's your starters, whether that's your backups, Nebraska kept on airing it out. I love to see that. I loved that the team showed fight from start to end. They didn't go, oh, we're up by 60, we're going to play like it. That team continued to play very, very hard throughout. I loved most of what I saw. There is going to be a time for some nitpicking on this show. That time is not right now, though. That is an A performance from Nebraska.
Yeah, A's for sure. When we talk about what Nebraska did, Emmett Johnson ran hard, 14 for 140, 2 touchdowns. Ives got in some tape we predicted to see from Ives. Latif and Ice zone read in the red zone. Kenneth Williams. How about this? And our old buddy, the Iron Horse, tweeted this out. Nebraska had over 70, I think 76 yards in total return yards a season ago. And I think Barney had 84 himself tonight. How many times do you start a drive off at the opponent 21 and 31? Nebraska did that. Kicking game was good. The field goal. You got the safety early in. And I thought you saw the defense. That's what we're concerned about after what happened against Cincinnati with their quarterback run game. And I'll say this: Nebraska's defensive line played much faster. Nebraska's defensive line played with a lot of fire. And again, grain of salt, it's the opponent, but that's okay. Nebraska's defensive line fired off the football today, got after the quarterback, and they were trying to preserve, and they did preserve that shutout for John Butler in his second game as defensive coordinator. Justice, couple of thoughts from you.
Yeah, I thought this one, like Elijah said, they look like you paid them to be a punching bag. I'll say that. I mean, Nebraska was getting them body shots. They were getting
pay for a yes.
Yeah, they
look like Bud Crawford against me.
I mean, they paid him to take a dive. We'll tell them that much. But listen, they wound up and gave him a couple of nice little haymakers. But listen, the offense looked good. There was a couple hiccups in the red zone. We can get to that in a bit. You know, there were spots that you need to clean up, but overall the running game looked good. The offensive line finally looked like they controlled the game. They controlled it. They were moving men at will. Dylan looked really comfortable back there. Dana Holgerson, I love the way that he opened up and allowed the receivers to run crossers, get some deeper developing routes, and just let Dylan just sling it over the field and show them what they could do. I thought Quinn Clark looked really nice. How about getting past a couple tackles, staying on your feet and making a play? That's an athlete right there. Ja'Cory Barney over 100 receiving yards. That looked really good. I love the return game, just like you said, Schmitty. I think they blocked a lot better. I think they had a lot more time. Granted, it was Akron, but Ja'Cory Barney was able to get loose, and you were able to get down. get into some advantageous positions, and then move the ball. It looked really comfortable. It looked really smooth. And I thought defensively they were flying around. It didn't matter. It was the first, second, third, fourth unit. Everybody was flying around and getting to the ball. And, like you said, Kate Pachak, what a heck of a player. I mean, that kid already is a true freshman. Looks like he could be something. They got after the ball. I really love what the secondary did again. I thought they were aggressive. I don't mind a couple penalties if you're going to be physical, okay? That's just the Big Ten. You got to be willing to go bump chests with somebody and go make a play on the ball. I thought they looked good again. Sierra, Andrew Marshall, all the present company included. It looked really smooth, really clean. A performance from Nebraska tonight with some stuff to still tweak and work on.
If we're scoring at home, total yards for Nebraska, 728. Akron 175. You had Nebraska 8 of 10 on third down. They didn't have a whole ton of red zone opportunities, but they cashed in fairly well with the exception of the fumble. And Nebraska did their job tonight. Guys, we were wondering from a tackles for loss perspective, and Tyler checks in, Nebraska scored tonight. What men's basketball average was in 2022-2023, and that's 68 a contest. Thank you for that. We'll get more of your comments. But Barty was good. It looks like Michigan's going to fall tonight, 24-13.
Even more surprisingly, Arizona State has just fallen to Mississippi State.
That was a dangerous ball game to go down there to Cowbell Land at night, and the ghost of the pirate down there. Making sure the Sun Devils don't shine. But it's a full moon, and all the freakies are out tonight having a good time, pouring a cold one. And it's joy in Huskerland. We'll start off with some of our comments, and you can dial up. This is the best you felt after a win since ... NASCAR Eric says, being on the right side of a blowout sure does feel real nice. Kobe in, and you have Black Hills Brennan says, start the buses or stop the fight. Steve checking in saying, look, oh, baby, they won like they should have. Absolutely. And Tuck says, got to find something to be upset about.
There is.
Yeah, there is. And that's the fumble. And you ask Emmett, and he's still ticked about it. Dion says they just might win next week, too. Dion, that's pretty good call. I like it. Arlo is here. TJ, formerly Jay, says, okay, so Vegas knew what they were talking about. I don't think they
did. I don't think they did. The line was nowhere close to 68.
Nope.
Well, I didn't think they'd cover the number just because you'd take the foot off the pedal, but the backups had no intention of taking their foot off the gas. I mean, it looked good.
It was a revenge
second teams. That's true. It was a revenge game from 2018 when Akron seeded the clouds and caused a monster thunderstorm to cancel the game. 489-1240 to get in, or 800-825-5865. Chuck, check it in, says impressed with the line, impressed with everything tonight. Vic, good to have you in from Denver. Says Nebraska looking like Nebraska should, and more of those. And Duck kind of echoes your comments, Justice, with glad to see Quinn Clark get in. That was a nice pitch and catch from 37. But Nebraska, fellas, they were running wide open all night long, and the ball was where it needed to be. And we talked about the run game and how well that was executed tonight. Nebraska went, it felt like, Elijah, and you're the O-line expert, some max protect here, or at least there was extras kept in where you had some smaller route combinations, maybe 2 or 3 man routes, tight end and 2 wideouts. And you had plenty of time for Dillon to throw the football. Yes, that a little bit of that's Akron, but schematically, Nebraska had some more guys on the line at home to stay and get Dillon to check through his progressions and get it downfield.
I'll have to go back and rewatch. That wasn't something that really stood out to me. I do think the offensive line had a fantastic performance, as they should. You could see how Akron's defensive line, they had some fire, some life to them for the first 2-3 drives of the game. But Nebraska's offensive line just beat him down with, as Justice said, to compare it back to boxing, it was body blow after body blow after body blow from that Husker offensive line. And Akron, before halftime, their front seven looked like they were really beat down by that Husker offensive line. Nebraska's offensive line went to work. It was the type of performance you thought you could see from them, but they did. It was 60 minutes, as I think Will Compton has said, of FU football from that Husker offensive line.
That's pretty good. Comments. Your ball. Your game ball goes to who tonight? We'll get there. We'll take your comments at 489-1240 or 800-825-5865. Trevor checks in as well, and Big Red Rules has entered the chat as well. Bruce and Spearfish. There we go. Optic Style Points. Welcome back, my old friend. We even saw old Ed talking to Dana on the sideline, and Ed checks in on the chat, so now that's what fans wanted to see.
Ed was looking a little cut up. I'm not sure
bet.
if you guys noticed that. Dana's popping his in, and Ed's showing off the guns. He looked like he'd been in the gym.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but someone said on Twitter with the still shot of Dana, reaching into the old bag of stimulants, that right before he did that, there was an adjustment made on national TV.
Yeah.
Guy being a dude.
God, dudes being dudes.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the pinch and twist method. I do think it was just an adjustment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are, Ed. You are jacked working out with Rule. Mobile quarterback, captain. Yeah, you got a little bit of that with Latif tonight. And Jay Downey. We are so bleeping back. Well, this is going to continue to fever pitch, fellas, and the cup will runneth over tonight, tomorrow, and good to see you, Scotty. And the repeat performance at 11, Kegs and Eggs, next Saturday with Houston Christian coming to town, and then it is on for Michigan.
And you look at that Houston Christian game. I was working. Excuse me. The Real Red Reaction Show stats department was working hard in the second half of that game. I put this out on Twitter. Tonight was the first time since September 22nd of 2012 that Nebraska has scored 60-plus points in a game.
That was the first game of the Carson Schmidt era in 2012.
Yeah, Idaho State fell on that day by a score of 70.
How good a dad I am. I took my kid to his first game for Nebraska against Idaho State.
You're a great dad.
I know, right?
Hey, any game you take the little ones to as a Husker game is a good one. I will say, though, Houston Christian next week, that is a game that, first off, I think you try to get the starters out before halftime. Secondly, that is a game where you're looking to put up a 70 burger. It's all about ironing out the kinks, building some confidence before Michigan comes to town. Michigan might be reeling just a little bit following what happened in Oklahoma. They did not take the reins off of Bryce Underwood. I was kind of flipping back and forth, trying to catch as much of that game as possible. They did not let him air it out. It looked more similar to an Iowa offense than anything else. If they want to compete in the Big Ten, they got to let that kid chuck the ball around the yard just a little bit. He
was off the plate quite a bit tonight when he did throw it.
Yeah, so it wasn't a banner performance from him. You were trying to build confidence and be hitting on all cylinders by the time Michigan comes to town, because that team might be reeling just a little bit. Next week's another great chance to go put up 70-plus. I think we have someone on the phone lines here.
Right,
Yeah.
Who do we have?
We got Carson wants to call in about his opinion on the game.
All right. Carson, welcome into Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th at Old Shady. Hit the drive-through. What do you say tonight?
Yeah, I was just wondering how your guys' opinions of the running backs, not so much Johnson, but the other running backs, how they performed. It's not more of an opinion, just more of a question for you guys.
Hey, Carson, thanks for the phone call, man. I thought Mosey looked pretty good. Ives had, holes the size for trucks to drive through, to go horrible cliche, but it was there for whoever wanted to tote the rock. I mean, I still don't. Nelson, I guess, got, a few carries. When we look at it here, Mackay got 5 for 11 and the touchdown. Ives, early in the game, though, Ives misread a cutback and he kind of got smushed and ran into his own guy. I thought there was a lane there for him to get into the end zone. So didn't need to see that. Connor Booth got a couple of carries. Harburg had the sneak. Right now, am I okay to say Mosey? I mean, is that it's kind of where I'm leaning with Mosey carrying the football and catching the football. So that's something that I think you need to continue to look at.
And what I saw from that running back room was I think Mekhi Nelson played well. I think Mosey played well. I think from an eye test point of view, Mosey's got juice.
Yes,
Like
he does.
he's got a little bit of it to it whenever he's got the ball in his hands. The contact balance was incredible. He was running hard. I assume that it's going to take him some time to get his feet wet playing at the Power 4 Big Ten level, but that's why you're giving him snaps in a game like this. That's why you gave him snaps last week. I think once he does figure out that adjustment period of playing running back at this level, well, he's got a little bit of juice to him. I liked what I saw from him, and that's nothing against Mekhi Nelson. I'm sure he will get plenty of opportunities again next week, and he in his own right looked good tonight. But, man, Mosey just had a little extra juice to him.
He did. Mosey had a little moxie. My only question in that running back room would be is that another guy that can come in and pound the actual rock in between the tackles a little bit like Emmett does and runs hard? Mosey's the guy that looks like he's got to be on the outside in some capacity out that way. Do you have another guy that can get in there and really get in between the tackles and tote the rock? But I agree with you. Mosey had a little moxie out there, and there was a little swag and a little toughness when he was breaking tackles and making some hay outside. But overall, I thought the running backs ran really hard. Actually, I think the entire team, if you look at the entire team, they played fast, they played quick, they played tough. They were a team that walked in with the confidence and said, you're Akron, we're Nebraska, we're favored by 34.5. That's what's going to happen. At the end of the day, they did what they're supposed to do.
I'll be brave. I'll say they look like a team that could contend for some serious things. Like they got some aspirations of going to, some serious places, like potentially competing for some hardware in the Big Ten, potentially competing to be one of the 12 teams in an exclusive dance. They look like a team that could go do it tonight. And I get it wasn't the greatest competition, but boy, they play like it.
They played like I will say it again, they played how they're supposed to against this opponent, right?
Yeah. Against an inferior opponent, they went and took belt to ass. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. And again, I think it was a team also that went out there and played like that, but put on a show for the fans. They're like, you're here. It's a party. It's a night game. Light show's going to happen. Let's go hang a number. Let's keep the fans in their seats for a while because I'm not going to lie to you, halftime was a little tough for the first time having to sit there and try to figure out what your mojo was going to be after halftime. There's a lot of fans sitting there hanging out. What's the second half going to look like? Does Nebraska come out in the second half, which typically a Nebraska team of late comes out flat in the third quarter? They did not. They continued that, that party, that atmosphere. It kept fans in their seats, got the light show done, and bam, there you go. You hang 68 on the team you're supposed to.
Now the next test is, and not to look too far ahead here, but I mean, the coaching staff is going to show up to film tomorrow, and they are going to. It's going to act like this was the worst performance Nebraska football's.
You've got to.
That's what you got to do.
Turn down, baby.
Can't let them rest on it.
You're going to circle the Emmett Johnson fumble inside the 5-yard line. You're going to circle the fact that you couldn't score from the 1-yard line. You're going to find things to nitpick. You're going to find things to be disappointed about. You are going to go make sure that team has all the motivation in the world this next week because you cannot rest on your laurels before Houston Christian. I know it's Houston Christian. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you have a big boy in Michigan coming to town the following week, and you need to be locked up and locked in on practice every single day next week, not for Houston Christian, but because every single rep between now and Michigan is going to matter. It's going to count. They are going to find everything in film over the next 24 hours, and they are going to probably kick the crap out of these guys for about 5 days. And Houston Christian is what it is, but it's about looking ahead to that Michigan game if you're the coaching staff and making sure these guys are locked in. There's no one missed day of practice where things aren't right, things are off. You can't be resting on your laurels, even though it's Houston Christian next week.
489-1240. You want to get in on Real Red Reaction. We're powered by Slim Chickens. Bill Hooks. We're here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate. There is all sorts of red, whining and dining, good whining, not what the hell happened tonight type whining. And the ballroom is full. You're invited out. If you're looking for us, we are just kind of around the corner, tucked in next to the Jack Daniels barrel in the back area, kind of by the buffet table. Justice Rhodey, Elijah Herbal, Bill Hooks, Chris Schmidt. The Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, should be en route and can also always subscribe, Average Joe, YouTube channel, Real Red Reaction YouTube channel, AJ Sports Radio on Twitter. Can watch the show there. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Chuck says the game ball goes to the beer concessions at the stadium. Love it. Steve says he's a big fan of the Latif zone read. Why not? You got a block field goal tonight too.
Were you guys big fans? I know Latif was cool. Were you guys big fans of the red end zones?
It was a nice change.
It was. I will tell you, I was with my wife, and she absolutely noticed it. She noticed a lot of things. You noticed that. You noticed the black sidelines. You had the little red zone tape on the side. I thought they popped. They had a nice, especially at night. They popped really big time at night.
Who do you have on the phone lines?
We do. Where are we going next?
We got
Justice?
Caleb on the phone lines. Oh, YZ wants to get his
YZ.
opinion.
Whoa.
All right.
Hey, YZ hit a little number tonight with the old shutout.
Did he?
He hit a little bet for the shutout.
Caleb, tell us about this wager you made and this win you hauled in.
Was it legal?
Oh man,
We can't disclose legal or not. He just won.
Just know he won.
Yeah, I mean, shutout by Nebraska brought home some coins for YZ tonight. And I said on the morning hookup this week that I misspoke, and I meant to say put your foot on their throats, and I actually said that they need to put their throats on them. That's not quite what I meant, but but they did what I asked. They put pedal to the metal. Could have been a spot where they look over a team like Akron, and like you guys keep saying, it's a win. It's a win where you did what you're supposed to do. And it couldn't have been that way. And Hooks, you brought up a good point. The Nebraska teams in the past, they could have came out in the third quarter and been flat, but they didn't. And they came out firing. The wide receivers are getting separation. Offensive line open up holes for the running backs. Still a little bit left to be desired, I think, with the running back room, like you guys said. Mosey's probably taking the hole right now at number 2. Yeah, man, just a great win. But I did drive over to Council Bluffs this morning, place a wager on FanDuel for Nebraska to get the shutout, and they brought it home. So can't ask for much more from the Huskers tonight.
A word to the wise, YZ. Take 50% of that coinage and put it towards a nice dinner for the girlfriend, something like that. Take the other 50% for yourself.
Yes, I will definitely take that advice, Elijah.
Hey, also just tell you bet half of what you won, so just move on from that.
Yeah.
Take that half you bet and put it down on back-to-back shutouts.
There you go.
Hey, there you go.
Let's just get greedy. Caleb, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for the phone call.
Yes, let's do it again next week.
All right, man. Be good. There he is. Good to hear from Caleb.
Hey, speaking of girlfriends, did you guys – Luke Lindenmeyer, a big night for him.
Yeah, Mitch Sherman, our dear friend with The Athletic, tweeting out, scores his touchdown tonight, first touchdown of the season, might be in his career. And then you had all of Husker Nation, the cheer section, teammates kind of gathered around. It almost looked Travis and Taylor-esque. Forgive me, find me. I just uttered that on the air. But he pulled the Searles and got engaged and got the yes on the field, which is nice. Quinn checks in, says best Nebraska's looked in 10 years. You know what, Quinn, it's been a long time since Nebraska's looked this good. I think you got to go back from a total yardage standpoint, and I think we remember this game. You go back to the Northwestern game in 2021, 56-7. Where Nebraska absolutely annihilated the Wildcats. That was right before that back and forth Michigan game that didn't end the way it needed to for Nebraska. That being said, I mean, there's just a handful of these. Well, funniest thing I heard tonight was in the press box, and there's a row of stairs that go down to the first level on level 6, and I sit right kind of across the way from one of our favorites, George Darlington. And George, of course, big time coach for a lot of years. And George says, well, this is how we used to treat Kansas every year.
No.
as Kansas is involved in a shootout with Missouri today. They lost that one. But, hey, you're keeping pace right now with teams in your conference, with the style points. But above all, you took care of business. Last Nebraska football shutout December 30th, 2009. That was Gronk's team and Foles' team in Arizona against Arizona in the Holiday Bowl, 33-0. Biggest win point differential by our friends. Good to see BJ earlier with the Big Red Junkies since '82. So it was nice. It was nice for Nebraska fans. It was nice to see the Huskers dominate from start to finish. Funky Giblet says, I like the depth building of this game.
Go back here. That's a stat. Nebraska's largest margin of victory since the scoring explosion team.
Wow.
That was the year before the scoring explosion. But same squad that had a defense. They got robbed at Penn State.
And Akron is probably the worst FBS team in the country.
They're about as bad as Pacific was.
But they are an FBS team. Like I took it back to Idaho State.
Yeah, they're Division I in name only.
They're Division I. They're in the MAC. We'll be watching them on Wednesday nights this year. They're not great, but that is still an accomplishment to put up that margin of victory against an FBS team. You look around the country and you see all these margin of victories that look similar, and you see FCS team, FCS team, FCS team. You don't see teams doing this against FBS squad. It's saying something. I don't care what FBS squad it is. Akron's got more resources than your Western Tennessee Catholic Baptist,
East Texas,
Northwestern State.
Yeah, like
Kingsville.
Like, there is still Division I FBS resources there at Akron, and it's a 68-point margin of victory. Hats off to Nebraska for the performance tonight. Again, I do think Akron packed in a little bit after, like, the first quarter, but it doesn't matter. A 68-point win is a 68-point win. Enjoy it while you can, Husker fans, because I don't know when the next time you're going to have a 68-point victory. It's been 43 years since the last time you saw it.
Dan lets us know that since he looked good tonight, 3 touchdowns by Sorsby against Bowling Green, also from the MAC. Justice, who's on the line?
We got AZ Husker on the line. Wants to get a couple thoughts.
All right, AZ Husker, you got 8:30, my friend, down in the desert. Are you popping one?
Yes, sir. We got some Yingling, our friend, brought back from Texas.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Is your friend's name the like Bandit?
Yeah, it was a great reference. I was just going to say they ran across state lines and they beat them. You could see. Yeah, that Diablo sandwich, and we pulled a trick on him.
AZ Husker, talk to me here. What'd you think tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. I kept texting with my cousin in South Sioux back and forth, and our first reaction though was white cleats. Back to the Riley days. It made us a little nervous at first. Then that first fumble on the white cleats, not the white uniforms like last year in Indiana, but the white cleats. But anyway. Teeing off at 8 tomorrow, so we'll be thinking of you.
That'll be good. 8 a.m. tee off. Mine's at 1 p.m. after the Sunday Live Average Joe show. Iowa Russ, I think, is out for blood because his Hawkeyes got beat today, and he was practicing this afternoon. So I'll owe Russ a kidney, but that'll be okay. It's golf. But no, Nebraska was dominant. Offense hitting on all cylinders. Young and old offensive line, AZ Huskers doing their thing, weren't they?
Yes, they were. And Iowa State did a little revenge for us by beating Iowa by a field goal.
It was good. It was good. Hit it far and straight tomorrow, AZ Husker. Thank you for listening to us and streaming us, bud.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good night, guys. Bye.
There he is.
Awesome.
Checking in from the desert. Love it, love it, love it. Let's take a quick time out. We'll get more of your comments, more of your phone calls. We're down here hanging out. Single barrel inside the Graduate 9th and P. Home away from home, as always, this football season. And Real Red Reaction powered by the great folks at Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Shady. It is, well, how about a drive-through? I mean, you guys got to have some wings, some desserts.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Some fresh salads. Maybe a good old crispy chicken sandwich that tastes incredible.
No, it's Victory Milkshake kind of night. That's what it is.
Victory Milkshake is fried pickles. Hooks, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, there we go.
Baby.
That is pretty good. So you have Game Dog checking in here. with Latif's performance. Mobile quarterback adds a completely new dimension on the offense. TJ, not a big kid, but live arm, and it's a nice find for Nebraska. We've been high on Latif with just kind of his pedigree there. That's good call there, Big Red Junkies on Pritchett. When he was in, he looked really, really good. More
like
comments from you? One more time.
He looked like he played at Bama.
The good Bama. We'll take a timeout. More from you, more from us. Huskers roll tonight, 68-0 over Akron. And you're listening to Real Red Reaction on KFOR, KFORnow.com.
Day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Now that Labor Day's over, it's time to switch out summer outfits for new fall looks and head into the season in style. Shop Macy's today for the latest fall trends from top brands like ruffled skirts and barrel leg bottoms, 25% off, and men's suits for every occasion from Tommy Hilfiger, Michael Kors, and more, 50 to 75% off. Plus, find signature scents from Yves Saint Laurent, Valentino, and so many others. So hurry in now and refresh your fall wardrobe at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Are you buying your wild bird feed from the grocery store, hardware store, or big box store, but you're not attracting many birds? Then give Wild Bird Habitat a try. They offer 21 varieties of quality, fresh, premium grade wild bird feeds, guaranteed to attract more of your favorite birds. So if you want to enjoy backyard bird feeding more, then stop by the Wild Bird Habitat stores in the Alamo Plaza.
This is the Real Red Reaction Show. Phones are open now, 402-489-1240.
Back here at the Single Barrel Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th at Old Cheney. No time like right now to hit the drive-through. Justice Rhodey, Elijah Herbal in studio, Bill Hooks, Chris Schmidt, as Nebraska emphatic tonight, 68-0, 2-0 on the year. More of your comments in the stream on YouTube, The Average Joe Sports Show, or Real Red Reaction, either YouTube channel, Twitter, AJ Sports Radio, to find us. And, of course, KFOR, KFORnow.com. Nebraska's 494, passing the second highest total in school history, right behind the old Joe Gans, Bill Callahan, stick it to Bill Snyder ball game in 07. Remember that? Something fierce. How about old Eck on the sideline? Game Dog says Eck is good as advertised. Eck was all fired up with the field goal block by Van Poppel and went up and did the old backside slappage to his head coach. Rule kind of stopped and turned. So Bill Hooks during the commercial break apparently says Elijah Herbal has a crystal ball.
Elijah, do you not remember? You said 69-0.
I did. I did say 69-0 on the air. I was 1 point away on the morning hookup with my half-serious prediction. It wasn't serious at the time, but now looking back, I think I was being serious. A higher power was calling down to me during that show on Friday morning and put that score into my head. So I was extremely close. I think I win the prediction battle in the morning hookup this week.
You did. I wrote it down, so it's official.
Boom.
That works well. 489-1240 or 800-825-5865. What'd you like most? The points, the win, the offense, the defense, or all of the above? Put that back up if you want. The comment from Bruce and Spearfish. Does Akron save some of the game money and take the bus home? When I showed up here, both the buses are still here for Akron. So,
well, they
Coach
might
Moore,
be in the line at Barry's. It was so long around the corner. They might have just jumped in.
Coach Moorhead may be telling them to run some stadium stairs.
It might be like that one scene in Casino downstairs at the Graduate.
Yeah.
Breaking kneecaps.
Wow. Game Dog says Akron got paid 2 times for one game. Well, 1.5. That's fair. Yeah, the old. I know we got rained out the first time, but you want to come back? Y'all want to come back? And Akron, I don't know, man. You got to find someone to fight, right? Anybody see Army put a nail in K-State season? Yeah, don't go lose in Ireland and expect to have a good season. UCLA may need to have a stern talking to as well, as they got rock and rolled. That game still bothers me. Let's talk a little bit here. Josh checks in. One complaint of the day as it exceeded expectations. Why does number 33 play over Shavers?
I think it's MWT he's talking about.
Yeah.
No, I think, fellas, there's still some active button pushing going on with this staff, rightfully so, with members of the roster. There's guys that you think should start. There's guys that have black shirts. There's some guys that don't have black shirts. There's some guys that have single digits. There's still some tweaking and fine tuning that's going on with the best 11 on the field, your best defensive line. We saw Lenhart, Elijah, with that left hand cast kind of on his forearm and his thumb. He played a good ball game tonight. Pedzok, though, is the dude that impressed me. Keona, and you had some good hurries by Waneri as well. And Judy. I mean, Judy's body language was really good tonight with his teammates, as he was a little more active tonight against Akron, staying in the mix of things.
I mean, the standout performer along the defensive line was Petchuk, though, right?
Yeah.
His ferocity, he was aggressive. He was attacking the mesh point on those zone reads. Loved what I saw from him. He was fantastic. He was like the guy I circle as the standout performer on a defensive line that I think as a group looked like they played motivated. Looked like they've been hearing some of the things that were said about them. Those guys look pretty fired up. Petchuk just stood out.
Justice, who's with us?
We got Game Dog on the phone lines.
Oh, my dear Lord. The one and only Game Dog. Good to have you in, man. Thanks for calling. Welcome in to Real Red Reaction. What do you say?
Chris, my brother, Elijah, Justice, what's up, fellas?
Good to hear from you, Game Dog.
Good to have you, man.
Hey, good to hear from you guys, man. Hey, listen, I don't got a whole lot to say here, man. 68-0. So I'll just leave you all with this, okay? When it comes to the Sports Talk radio game, my man Chris Schmidt, my man Justice, my man Elijah, you guys are all badder than John Jones and his several of my sugar mamas will attest to under oath. My freak game makes blush, puffy combs, and y'all better believe I'm bigger than John Holmes. I'll see y'all in the chat. Dorks!
Game Dog, that is the first John Holmes reference in the history of KFOR radio.
Wow. Wow.
God love you, partner.
That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. He just cut a Chael Sonnen promo on us. I can't believe this.
Uh-huh.
We actually got the baddest man in Westland, Oregon on the phone lines.
Guys, I do have a really good stat to pull up. Credit to Husker Wave on Twitter for this one. Through 2 games, Iowa quarterback Mark Gronowski has 127 passing yards.
Oh, God.
How many?
127 passing yards. In under one half of his college career, TJ Lateef has 128 passing yards.
Nice.
Wow. That's wow. I love it.
Well played, Funky Giblets. Rack him.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Moose spent an extra $1 million on booze. Let's leave the Moose out of this.
We love coming up.
I put the comment up.
we love the Moose. I love the Moose anyway. Skylar, second thought, more Game Dog every night. Hell yes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Captain says, you don't know how much this guy is my brother. Steven asked the question. Justice, just a simple yes or no. Do not Google on the work computer.
I'm going to say no to that one.
Okay, that's a good answer.
As soon as you said do not Google, it makes me think is it somebody in the adult industry?
Evan Fournier?
Once upon a time.
Nope, it's
okay. There's a reason I don't know who it is.
Yeah,
that's a great answer.
There's a reason.
Back to football. Scott says TJ looked good. Let's talk about Lateef. All right, we know Dylan was on it and locked in. His wideouts were getting great separation, but Lateef's mobility that was mentioned in the stream a little bit earlier, 489-1240 to get in here on Real Red Reaction. Is something to look forward to when it's time. And the poise, and again, you had the old spread covered when you got into the football game. Bottom line, though, is you went after a kid in Lateef that was a top 12, top 10 national recruit. Glenn Thomas saw him. Glenn Thomas had other area quarterbacks he could have gone after. Glenn Thomas says, I like what TJ Lateef is. Kid that lived and grew up in Compton, that took the extra effort to get to Orange County Lutheran and performed well against some high school competition, Elite 11 kid, and his mobility with that arm strength. I'm not going to say he's Daniels, but he has that type of game to him with the ability to move around in a really minute sample size we saw tonight. But the poise part is something that you're going to take with you as a Nebraska fan tonight and say, all right, it's somebody that you can continue to groom for high-level quarterback play at Nebraska.
Yeah, and I would say, number one, that checked the box tonight, right?
Yeah.
You got Dylan in, you got him his stuff, you got the big lead, you got your backup in. There's some development happening. I thought when he walked in, you mentioned the poise. The lights weren't too bright for him. They were not too bright for him. I love the fact that a kid like him moves that pocket with a threat. Right? There's the threat. I can dunk it here, I can throw it there, or I'm going to take off there.
I mean, it came through on the TV broadcast, Hooksy. You could hear an audible ooh whenever he juked that one Akron defender out of his shoes around the 10-yard line.
That was hot.
Incredible. But again, that just shows you bright lights, like they were not too bright for him, even though we were up so much. Still fighting, still throwing the football, still moving the pocket, and like even the juke and almost getting in at that moment, fighting for that touchdown. This kid has the potential to be special in that offense whenever that time comes.
489-1240 to get in, 800-825-5865 to dial up. Do we have any Matt Rule audio, fellas, we want to get to?
I don't have any pulled yet, but I can see if I can scrape something together.
We can see about going to break and then pulling it up. But before we get there, it's funny that we're talking about Latif, where Raiola, that touchdown throw he made to Dane Key rolling out to his right.
That was incredible.
That was a laser.
I mean, it's what I was talking about, and I mentioned this on our Sunday live Average Joe Sports Show. Whenever we were talking about Raiola's performance against Cincinnati, he did make some throws against Cincinnati that would have NFL scouts salivating. That was another throw. Rolling out to the right and throwing that dot into a tight window in the back corner of the end zone. NFL scouts are going to love that one.
Can I also throw in the pitch and catch when he had to escape the pocket, the touchdown to Lindenmeyer, where he had to basically throw off balance? And I know it was right in front of him, but still to make that throw when you're kind of moving towards your weaker side and you're not able to roll out and throw it on your strong arm side, to kind of flip his body and just kind of sidearm it to an open Lindenmeyer, I thought that was a pretty impressive throw as well.
What are you guys looking around about?
I think that leg is going to collapse. The table about fell down. It's the only bad part of the night.
I'm trying to save the drink more than anything else.
Well, yes, you are. Do you have it? Priorities.
Prized goods right there.
Hey, you couldn't say I had the table on my knee to get the leg out, okay?
No, but the Crown and Water is safe.
Is that what is the best celebratory drink after a 68-point home victory for Nebraska?
I can tell you, I have a group sitting over there right now, my wife and my friends. We celebrate with a fireball shot every Nebraska win, so it's about to happen at the next break.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll get Rule racked up. You go get your fireball like you just made birdie. The Pride of Fairbury is on site as Bill Dolman is here, and Bill Dolman said 68-0 in his prediction segment in class. And Bill, we're going to take a quick timeout, and you're ready to launch, I would assume.
What's up, Holmes?
He has no idea the word home.
No, I know why he said it. I absolutely know why he said it. Bill?
He doesn't.
No?
He doesn't know.
We had a phone call. Yeah, okay. Quick timeout. Yeah, I know. Timeout. TV timeout. We needed 20.
You're on 30. We're going full timeout.
No, full timeout. Full timeout. More Bill Dolman. Fireball shots for Hooksy.
And we will come back with Matt Rule's press conference from tonight.
We're here from Bill. We'll get Rule in and more from you. 489-1240 Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Shady. And we're here at the Single Barrel as our home away from home every football season. Scott, our friend from Shields, says, "Do we need Rumplemints?" He is the Rumplemints king. Woo. And I'm okay. Elijah would take one.
Hey, we might have to crack open one of those Bud Lights in here.
Are they warm or are they cold yet?
Oh, they're extremely warm. They've just been sitting in the studio.
Okay.
They were better for shotgun.
Nothing says 68-0 over Akron like a warm beer.
Hey, warm beer is better for shotgunning.
That's fair. All right, quick timeout. More Real Red Reaction with us here on KFOR, KFORnow.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar.
Ready for a new opportunity?
We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment.
Full-time
From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. Talent at sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now and take the first step.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now. I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper. Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside. What's Upside? Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway? Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SAFE25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SAFE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code SAFE25. That's code.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Explorer, way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the so you can be confident you're getting the right one. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of grumpy tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Explorer, and now that Labor Day's over, it's time to switch out summer outfits for new fall looks and head into the season in style. Shop Macy's today for the latest fall trends from top brands like ruffled skirts and barrel leg bottoms, 25% off, and men's suits for every occasion from Tommy Hilfiger, Michael Kors, and more, 50 to 75% off. Plus, find signature scents from Yves Saint Laurent, Valentino, and so many others. So hurry in now and refresh your fall wardrobe at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. So hurry.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to say it.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Get your thoughts on now. The Real Red Reaction Show is unfiltered at KFOR.
The single barrel inside the Graduate. It's Real Red Reaction. Send Bill a link, fellas.
I can do that real quick.
All right. And Pride of Fairbury is with us here. Bill Hooks is moseyed on over to Fireball Land, and Nebraska on fire tonight with 68-0. And Bill, we'll get you on camera here in a second. We got your audio here on KFOR, KFORnow.com. And what's impressive is not only the score, but we kind of started off with the optics of how it needed to look. It looked like it was supposed to look for Nebraska in dominating fashion. Offense, defense, special teams, Nebraska in control and doing what they needed to do offensively. Some questions and some calls when we talk about Nebraska and kind of their preference here with the running game. Emmett, yes. Do we still have any clarity on where Nebraska's at with their backup running back? We thought Mosey looked pretty clean tonight, looked pretty good. Ives had a nice ball game. Emmett was possessed, did well. And of course, you had Dylan go off. He was fantastic. You've seen a lot of Nebraska football. Bill Dolman tonight did what for you?
It took me back to the 1980s and the early to mid 90s, because that's the way it always was during the course of the non-conference
George
season.
Darlington said, "This is how we used to treat Kansas."
That's exactly right. Yeah, you'd play a Utah State, you would play a New Mexico State, you would play any other directional hyphenated institution in the non-conference season, and you'd win a game like this. And it was just kind of a given. I think I can remember a game that Nebraska beat New Mexico State 68-0 on a sun-soaked Saturday afternoon in the capital city, and Nebraska goes for 700, 800 yards in total offense. And that's just the way it was. And Nebraska would rack up 9-10 wins in the season and then go to the Orange Bowl. So for those people who don't remember those days or never understood what those days were like, tonight was exactly that. It was It was a throwback to yesteryear, although it usually was done on the ground and not through the air, the way Nebraska moved the ball in the first 2.5 quarters or so. I was a little surprised Raiola was in there much after halftime. But that's the way it was. That was Nebraska football. That's what it was built on, and it was built on the carcasses of schools that came in here to get a check. I mentioned the other day, yesterday on the show, what was my prediction? Well, pain. But
the good kind of pain, though, we're handing it out versus taking it.
I'm telling you, yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, next week will be similar to that Pacific game that I recall. I have a feeling that Matt Rule must really hate Joe Moorhead for Fordham beating his Temple team 10 plus years ago or whatever it was, because he took it out on him today and did not let up at all. But I go back to a game Nebraska played against Pacific in the late 80s, early 90s, I think. And I remember hosting a luncheon, and Pacific was there and was in the Havelock area. And Bob Lee, who played for the Falcons, not the ESPN anchor, and he was the athletic director at Pacific at the time. And I remember him saying at that luncheon that games like this are important for our athletic department. We know what is ahead for us tomorrow, but this is an opportunity for us to bring in some much needed funds for our athletic department. Tom didn't want to do what he could have done to him, beat him like 49-7. And at the time, it was probably $500,000 is all they were getting, and not the $6 million that Cincinnati got last week. They took their $500,000 check, gave it to everybody else, and dropped football after the season. So I think next week Nebraska beats Houston Christian 48-7, and this was they just took it out on Akron today. But this is what it was like in the old days.
So you have the one-score win in Arrowhead with Husker Nation traveling down. You win a tight one. Cincinnati looks better tonight. You roll Akron, where everyone's got the feels in a great way. You follow tonight up with another dominating performance, and then you have this build-up, this anticipation as ranked Michigan comes to town. I think they'll still be ranked after what happened in Norman tonight, where they fought hard but didn't have enough at quarterback with a freshman.
I'm not sure they will be ranked, but I think tonight was an eye-opener for Michigan. Am I going to say anything about tonight's game? What is there to say about tonight's game? It was an ass-kicking. It should have been. It was. I said Matt Rule seems to be pissed off about his Temple loss to Fordham 10 years ago, and they took it out on him. Raiola was great. He should have been great. I sent Schmitty a text during the game, and I said, Nebraska's better than Akron. And there you go. And they should have been.
Water is wet. The sun is bright.
They did what they should have done. Now, they have not had a lot of games like that where they should have done it, but they did. It was problematic that you couldn't score from the 5 twice in the first quarter. It should have been 21-0 instead of 12-0. But Emmett Johnson looked good. But look, Akron was completely overmatched, way overmatched. And Nebraska showed no mercy. Good on him. Raiola was efficient. He found 12 different receivers, I think. TJ Lateef is a better running quarterback than Dylan Raiola. He's more than a serviceable backup. I think he's very athletic. Emmett Johnson looked good. Dane Key looked good. Isaiah Mosey looked good. Luke Lindenmeyer is...
Cade Pedzock, number 93.
Pedzock was, great. Willis McGahee, he had a couple of nice plays. Everybody got involved. Nebraska did exactly what it should have done. If we were talking about a 28-0 win tonight, as opposed to 68-0 win tonight, we would be on the air all night lamenting what the hell went wrong in that win.
Guys, as we enter the 11 o'clock hour here, quick reminder, you're listening to the Real Red Reaction Show on KFOR, FM 101.5, 1240 AM, or online, KFORnow.com, or many of the ways that you can stream the show online and on YouTube. KFOR Lincoln. We do have a phone call to get to, Justice. Who's on the line?
Justice, thanks for that, buddy. Who do we got?
This is a mouthful. It's I Am the 13 is online. He's an affiliate of Hooksy is all he said.
Okay. Hey, welcome in to Real Red Reaction. Go for it. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, gentlemen. I would just like to let everybody in Husker Nation know that the curse is officially broken. Nebraska has won 68-0 like the years of the 90s. Frank has walked back through the tunnel, and a thunderstorm did not save Akron. So we know that is back. We also know that Bill Hooks loves his wife. Willie J loves slinging beer. Elijah loves shotgunning warm beer. I love winning 68-0, but I think I love even more that Iowa lost by a field goal earlier today. Now, the only question that we don't know or have the answer to is, has anybody checked on Jabba tonight? Have a great night, everybody.
Wow.
On that note.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Are you guys really going to do this in celebratory fashion?
This would be the first one for Justice.
Justice's first beer. On that note, Justice. There it is.
All right.
Beautiful. Man.
And
now what do I do?
Well, as good as it is.
So warm.
Tastes like America, baby.
Tastes like a win. Tastes like a win.
Tastes like 68-0.
Is Justice 21?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right.
Lock the door, Justice. Get Elijah and Justice some keys. I like that.
Jesus. Give the man his keys. Jesus.
Wrong keys, Justice. Wrong keys. All right, let's hear from Matt Rule. And I'm watching footage here that our old friend Michael Bruntz just posted, and this is hilarious. I mean, it's straight up Leachian with Dana walking off with his son into the tunnel amidst cheers and well wishes. Dana Holgerson and his offense going pirate on somebody. It was pretty good. 489-1240 to get in here on Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens. Again, those locations in town for you to check out: 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Shady. A great crowd here at the Single Barrel tonight for Real Red Reaction post game. Big Red Rules wants to know if you're drinking Clamato. Nope, just Bud Light with the official Husker can. And, of course, our friends at Bud Light helping bring you the Friday forecast. Matt Rule, his post-game thoughts. Let's get to those right now on Real Red Reaction.
All right, obviously big win tonight. I'm very excited for our guys. We have recruits come on the field. It was, 40 minutes for the game, 30 minutes for the game. I was able to point our student section. I want to make sure I thank them. Our student section was filled early before games. These are the things that differentiate us in recruiting. So I want to thank the students. Great crowd tonight. Thank everyone who came, and especially thank all the people who stayed to the end. One of the key things in a game like that, besides getting the shutout, I think the shutout was very important for us. I think it's the first time since when? 2009. And we're not that the history of it matters to us, but just, we played a lot of players. I think every player that could play got in the game. Maybe one or two didn't. I don't know. But we were able to get a lot of players in the game, a lot of players who work hard, who sacrifice. And so to play them all and still continue to play to the standard and have the shutout was a really exciting moment for us. Proud of the guys, proud of their effort this week. They practiced hard and they went out and overcame some early self-inflicted wounds and played the game pretty clean. So proud of that. Excellent to see Jacory, the job he and his punt return unit did, having 87 yards. I think Keith was just telling me it's more than the season total the last couple of years. We knew we were going to have good opportunity at that, but it's all these things mixed together, right? It's the defense. It's the defense, having good field position so that we can be aggressive on the punt returns. It's guys holding guys up, having guys like Derek Branch and Vince Genatone who do great jobs on those teams. Young guys like Kamir Prescott who step up. So really proud of all that. And finally, happy for Luke Lindemeyer. At the very end, he proposed to his girlfriend, who I'm so embarrassed I don't know her name, but she's a lovely young lady, and she's a Scarlet. And he proposed, and she said yes. So excited for him. So with that, I'll answer all your guys' questions.
I know there's probably things you can look on the film and quibble about, but was that about as complete a performance as you've had since you've been here, and how gratifying is it to have it after a week where you wanted to fix some things?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played pretty well last week. Really, it's most of the, it wasn't good enough. I mean, it wasn't. I'm always going to look for better. I'm going to say, this is not good enough, but it's still. We were a pretty good football team last week. I think I'll watch the tape and just, I'll just try to do the same thing I did last week. Just look at the things that were good, look at the things that were bad. Obviously, first and goal inside the 5 and to not get it in is not good enough. To fumble the ball on the goal line is not good enough. But at the same time, we also came back with sort of a what's next attitude. I hated the fact that they were able to drive the ball before the half and have a chance at a field goal. I hated the fact they were able to drive the ball and start the second half. But credit to our guys. They came off and they blocked it. I love the intensity of our guys on the sideline, the Bufords demanding that we block it. So I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots and lots of things. And we're not here to comment on the overall. We're here to just keep fixing all the things that we see, and different things will come up. So, but I think a lot of, in general, all three sides put it together. So pleased with that.
Dylan seemed super comfortable tonight. I mean, 24 of 31 is pretty strong. I mean, how does this rank amongst other performances he's had under you?
Yeah, I don't think anyone gave him nearly enough. I mean, I told the TV guys before the game, I said, Dylan's done a good job of blocking out the noise. A lot of guys were talking about his performance last week. He completed, he was one of the only quarterbacks in the country. He completed 33 passes last week. He completed his last 9 last week and first 11 this week, or vice versa. Last 11 last week and first 9 this week. I think he was superb last week. I thought early on, to be quite honest, his feet were a little bit out of whack. I thought Data did a good job of getting him in phase, and I thought he was in command. Anytime we can throw the ball this many times and not have to worry about throwing it in interceptions, I think we feel really good about it. I think everyone has to get used to the fact that when Dylan plays really well, I don't want to see a ton of wow plays. I don't want to see him run around throwing the ball sideways. I want to see him play quarterback. And what Dylan's doing is he's playing quarterback. He's elite before the snap. And I just hope everyone, across the country appreciates it the way I know most of you guys do. He's just getting us in the right play, making the right check. There's not a lot of things that are off. And most of playing quarterback happens actually before the snap. And I think he's just so elevated in that regard. So we're able to get to a lot of things. There's a lot of plays, I'm sure, when he looks at it, he'll say, I need to do this better, that better. But I just think he's ascending and getting better and better every week.
And Nick, you played a lot of defensive guys in this game, but early Cade Headshot came in and produced a lift for you. Got a safety. I don't know him to play before. What did you see out of him? And how bright is his future moving ahead now? Yeah,
I was disappointed we didn't play Cade more last week. Kind of the way we have it stacked is it's like Cam, Williams, and Cade at the same position, and they're all three really good players. And so it's just sort of the position, right? They all kind of fit that. So just trying to move guys around, like Cam Lenhart played nose tackle tonight at one point. He was in our 5-down package. I think Cade's an excellent player. I think he makes big plays. He plays really hard. The more he plays, the better he'll get. But if I may, Cam was one of our captains tonight. Cam elected to have surgery this week. He went Tuesday afternoon for surgery. He elected to practice Tuesday morning, which means he couldn't eat after midnight. So he went out to a full padded practice, which everyone acts like our practices are crazy. Our players, I'm saying, they come out like, oh, coach, we got to do what today? Cam walked out there, no food in his stomach, no water, had a little bit of water, some Gatorade, then couldn't have anything after that. He practiced, had surgery, and practiced the next day. So, when people ask me about year 3, Coach, it has nothing to do with me. It's about guys like Cam. And so we're just have to continue to find ways, Sean, to get Cam and Williams and Cade on the field. And I think that's one of the things that Terry did a great job of this week, as did John. We had a lot more packages to play different guys in as we get more and more comfortable. And I think that's excellent. We had a lot more packages where Donnie went in and we played with 3 corners. Really, really good, nice job by the defensive staff, I thought, to make sure that we were just rotating guys without just rotating them, but giving guys roles. Gabe Moore played his first football for us tonight. And it looked like out there, this is a guy that he didn't have his first full practice until Tuesday of this week. And it looked like he played pretty well too. So looking forward to those guys just continuing to ascend and improve.
What kind of surgery?
His hand done. I don't know the exact, something that he was able to play through, but had some sort of injury to his thumb and his hand. Played with the cast tonight.
How much can it help guys' confidence when it is a night of first for a lot of things, like Quinn Clark's first touchdown, Makai's first touchdown? Yeah, a lot of guys did things for the first time, and what that can do for them going forward.
Yeah, well, Quinn, for me, that's a special Husker moment there. Obviously, his father great player here, passed away. I'll never forget when we offered him, Coop and I were in the end zone at a camp, and he just kept running around. I was like, Vershawn and Damon and a bunch of guys that kept sending me his tape. And I said, we'll get him to camp. He came to camp, and he's running around, this big athlete. I remember walking up finally and being like, we were in Memorial. We were in the north end of Memorial. I said, well, where's your mom? He said, she's right there. Ironically enough, she was standing there. I said, walk over here. And we offered him a scholarship in the end zone at Memorial Stadium. And, just think about, his father not being there, but probably looking down on him in a place that meant a lot to him. And so, he scored that touchdown. Me, like I'm the most like non-seller. I yelled at Dane, like, go get that ball. And we got it for him. And Quinn's a guy that's coming on. Makai, I knew Makai was coming. I was really proud of Makai. Like, the only time, him and I are both from PA, so we talk a lot of trash to each other. The only thing he said to me all night was, he was on kickoff. He's like, you want me to make another kickoff tackle on kickoff? Because he made a tackle on kickoff. So a lot of those guys are really good players. Their time is coming. My challenge to the guys both before the game and at halftime was, to finish the game and have the killer instinct, to not let people lie around. And I thought we did that. We're in there. I called everyone up, and even Marquise was like, we've never done this before. We've never had a 68-0. And again, that's not an FCS game. That's a group of 5 team. And so happy for them that they did that. Just won't, at the end of the year, we won't be talking about this game. So we did it. Now we got to move on.
Matt, what did you make of Emmett's performance tonight? And following the fumble, what did you say to him, and how did you see him respond?
Yeah, I didn't say anything to Emmett after he fumbled. Just said, hey, put the next back in. You're not going to fumble and play the next, go right back in. And so, but I thought we've, great job with Donnie and Danny continuing to go to it. We ran like the fake speed sweep, inside zone slice play that, hit consistently. So we kept going back to it. I thought Emmett was excellent there. One of the things I loved about what Emmett did tonight that I saw, I don't like to comment too much on the football until I watch the tape, but most times when he breaks out, he looks to cut it back. And tonight you saw him trust his long speed and make long runs. And to me, that's his training. And I think I've said to you guys, like, hey, I see a different back during training camp. I think you saw a little bit of that tonight. He fumbled. We put the other guys in as the ball got down near the goal line. I said, hey, put him back in. He just want to make sure he knows, we can't do that. And it's not the results. We go to 5 points of ball security. We go to the X factor. Again, I couldn't see how exactly it happened, but the ball was, the ball was in his left arm. He started left, cut the ball back right. We want to go to 5 points and score. He didn't. Ball came out. But to his point, I was like, hey, what's next? Get back in there. And then after he scored later, he said, Coach, what's next? So when the players start saying the things like that, then they're bought into it. The bad things are going to happen. How do you overcome adversity?
What do you see from TJ Lateef, his composure in his first appearance?
Yeah, one thing about Dana, he's not going to put him in there and just hand the ball off. He knows he needs to play. And I thought he did a nice job. He found some guys on the over routes. Great catch by Keelan Smith. We've never truly seen him live. So the one run he had, I knew he could run, but he ran. That was a dynamic play. Did a nice job pulling the ball again later, which those are designed quarterback reads. That's a read if you need to. And it was great to see him do that. So I think I said a couple times, he's not someone who gets too overwhelmed by the moment. He's kind of excited to go back in there. We started challenging him 2 weeks ago. Hey, if something happens, you have to go in and play, and you're struggling to call the play calls because you're not prepared. A lot of people are going to be looking at you, and he's answered that. He's in there early. He's working hard. I thought he was poised. I thought he did a really nice job. And so he'll add the dynamic element of being able to run the football while at the still time you saw him push the ball down the field. You saw him throw touch passes, and I think it shows how much we trust him that we allowed him to do that in a game like that, where obviously a shutout, specifically to me, a shutout was important to us because I believe in the defense having that, the fact that we let him throw it so much. Go ahead, Mitch. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you up.
I just wondered, and maybe you don't even know this at this point, but with TJ, is it 4-game plan, or do you expect that he'll play it whenever he needs it?
TJ's going to play as needed. Yeah, he's our backup.
Hey, Coach, on Monday you talked about the fans meeting their wives or husbands here at games. Did you know that Luke was going to propose after the game?
Oh yeah. He had asked. He had asked ahead of time. I mean, not asked. Hey, do you care if I do this after the game? He didn't ask for my permission. I think he probably asked her to add that. Yeah, so that was really, really important for me. I didn't want to think about that. I wanted to think about the game. But once the game was in hand, I think it was really important for me that his teammates were there. Luke's a devout Christian, and he's someone who's openly shares his faith, and he's someone who rallies teammates of all ages and all places and all ethnicities and diversity. I mean, he just is there for everybody, and he's behind them all. So just to see the joy on everyone's face, to see him, I think that was really, really cool. I think it's one of the great stories of this era of Husker football. Here's this kid who's a walk-on that's probably making a bigger impact off the field than he is on the field. But I think tonight he made a one-hand catch with him. I couldn't tell on the far side. One-hand catch, scored a touchdown. So I was like, if she's ever going to say yes, she will tonight. So, but no, I'm happy for him. I know he loves her, and beautiful thing.
All good. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Very pleased, but not satisfied, if that makes sense. They're chasing perfection, yet you'll never attain it. Go back to the Matthew McConaughey Oscar speech, is what kind of pops into my reference. You're never going to play the perfect football game. You're going to chase it. And Nebraska able to emphatically overcome a couple of missteps, but dominate, control it, and look good doing it from start to finish, where starters, backups, new faces, and some grizzled vets all performed tonight. And a couple of things I want to hit on here, fellas. One was Lenhart, and Elijah had the news on Lenhart earlier this week, and we both kind of looked at each other. It's like, okay, guy just had surgery. He's back at practice. And then you saw him ball out, and he does a good job on the interior. He's not as big as some of Nebraska's other bodies on the interior, but they're going to need that mentality and that fight in that phone booth, so to speak, moving forward with the rest of their schedule, specifically conference season. And if Lenhart's an option, good for Nebraska to have some more options, despite maybe at air quote 6'3", 265, not being your typical A-gap nose guard size. So I like the fact that they're tinkering there. Pedzok is nice. Waneri's good. McCullough was good tonight. And, Nebraska's defensive line, in my humble opinion, took a step forward tonight. They looked better off the ball. Yes, opponent, but more so that fire lit underneath guys to have a better performance than they showed in Kansas City, specifically with the run game. Yes, Akron combined for 100 yards, but Nebraska did the 9 TFL thing, and I thought that was an over-under we set appropriately before the kickoff. So Nebraska did good work getting into the backfield, also with hurries and harassment, and a couple of sacks tonight.
One of the things that impressed me was Nebraska's tackling, and and that's one thing where you don't really have to preface or caveat opponent. Granted, that's not a good football team, but Nebraska did not allow them to get too many plays that reached, more than 5 yards. There was a couple of, I think one run they had 5 total rushing yards, and then one run they had 12, and then there was the 17-yard gain in the second half. That didn't lead to anything. They were 1 for 13 on third down conversions, but the tackling was sure. And after all the thudding we heard that Nebraska has to do and all the teams have to do, that's a real positive. That there was a lot of gang tackling, and there was sure tackling, and there was wrapping up and bringing them down when they had a chance. So good on Nebraska's defense in that regard. I do want to answer to Joel that I thought the new look field was pretty cool the first time I saw it, and then I didn't notice it really after that. Nobody bought me a beer, so I don't know what the sales were like.
Not yet.
I have 2 boxes of popcorn in my backpack, so I didn't get any of the new food, and I don't think alternate uniforms should ever be worn at Memorial Stadium, but maybe for the last 10 minutes after the crowd cleared out and the game was well in hand, it may have been appropriate. Many people may not notice this, but there's turf that is black between the 20s on each of the sidelines on the benches. And that's new. And if you will think ahead to, say, maybe an afternoon game when the temperatures might be a little hotter, that black turf on that east sideline is going to get really, really warm. So whatever Iowa did with its pink visitor locker rooms, Nebraska's got black turf on the opponent's sidelines for those days when it might actually be a little warmer over there. diabolical.
Joel's asking about you and your thoughts on Taylor Swift.
I don't have any thoughts on Taylor Swift. Just shake it off, Brock.
Oh, yeah. That was good. I like that one, Bill. I like that one.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you for that.
As we do, dare I say, slight nitpicking. I know in a 68-0 win, no one wants to hear the nitpicky side of things. But you look at it, Nebraska was penalized 6 times for 71 yards. I also think they were letting Akron get away with just about anything by the time they were down by 30 points, so that should be taken into account there. Nebraska also, even on the turnover margin, if you're Emmett Johnson, you can't be fumbling the football inside the 5-yard line when you're about to go in and score, especially with how the offense had been moving the ball. Those are the 2 slight nitpicks I have for this game. But other than that, I think it was an A-type performance. I mean, you held Akron 1 of 14 on 3rd down.
They were able to not overlook. You hear coaches scream, respect the opponent, respect the opponent. And, it would have been easy to, break your arm, pat yourself on the back for what you pulled off. And you can play better. And that's a rare feat when coaches and a locker room kind of come together in acknowledgement saying, yeah, we can play much better football. And it's the upperclassmen. It's the leaders on this football team that are ones that are probably harder or as hard as some of the coaches. And you like to think that moving forward. You don't want any false sense of security. You don't want any of that this season. And right now, the mother's checking in. Thank you, Bunny, for that. In the middle of a thought. Sorry. But what you don't want is just this false sense of it's going to be all right. You got out of Dodge with a win last Thursday, 20-17. And, hey, things are wonderful. No, you took a hard look at yourself. You asked your players to grade yourself. If you didn't grade yourself, you got asked to go home. And some guys got sent home before they were able to practice again. They needed to do that self-grade. The coaches, the head man was in people's business this week on his staff based on what happened Thursday night. And you see the result right now. You saw it. And then you saw Dana Holgerson do the routine. You saw some routine tonight, fellas. You saw a 17-yard pass go for 29 yards or 38 yards. Or you saw the play to Clark on a dig route, right, Elijah, that turned into a touchdown with better downfield blocking. You saw guys keep their feet. You saw Ja'Cory Barney get loose in the return game and then also get loose catching the football downfield. And you saw Dane Key make a great catch. So what's being emphasized is actually being produced on the field, and that's going to help you tonight. That'll help you next Saturday. That'll help you 2 weeks from now with whatever we're discussing with Michigan, Nebraska, and throughout the season. So the approach is right, and everyone's on the same page. That's nice.
And Big Red Rules chimes in here to say slight nitpicking. I'd like to see the front 7 generate some sacks. I do actually 100% agree with that. He didn't need it tonight, and their quarterback also did a good job. He didn't want to get smoked. He was getting the ball up pretty quick and somewhat inaccurately, so it all worked out for the best. But whenever you evaluate this film as a football team, as a fan base, as a radio show host, whatever it may be, you do have to put into account you're playing Akron.
Yeah.
You're playing Akron. You can't get so high patting yourself on the back after a 68-point victory over an Akron team. Like, you can be happy that you had a good performance. You did what you were supposed to do. But the great football teams, people sometimes get mad whenever we nitpick great performances. The great football teams will be harsher on themselves than anyone else out there. They're going to go into that film room. Hey, it's a tackle for a loss, but there's one guy in the defensive line that didn't do their job right. And I'm not picking on any.
Right.
I'm just seeing how this goes down in the film room. You have to be so hard on yourself through this time whenever you are playing a team like Akron, because you have to be playing buttoned up. You have to be playing confident football by the time Michigan comes to town. You're going to have to get after it this whole week at practice, take on Houston Christian, get after it for the full week of practice. And you can't be looking towards Michigan just yet, but you have to understand you can't have an off day right now at this point in the season. You have to be completely locked in to make sure you are playing at your best whenever Michigan comes to town, because that's the game that is going to define this early part of the season. It's not Cincinnati. That was a good win. It's definitely not Akron a 68-point victory. Whatever happens next week with Houston Christian, none of that defines this early part of the season. It doesn't set the expectations for October and November. That Michigan game will.
Yeah, you know that Michigan's going to have to come in buttoned up because they just got disappointed in Norman, and Bryce Underwood did not look good in his first road start as a true freshman. Like, they very much confused him. That Brett Venable defense did their job of getting in his grill, of mixing up coverages, of making looks harder and harder for him to process. And so he's going to have some film to digest as well. So you wonder the mentality of Michigan coming in 2 weeks, but also if you're Nebraska, it's just like you said, you got to be buttoned up every single practice, every single snap, every single film session, every single self-reflection you do has got to be done with a purpose in mind of making sure that going forward you're the best buttoned up outfit you can be, because Michigan's going to come in without Sharon Moore, by the way, which might help them, might hurt them, we don't know yet, but they're going to come in and they're going to want, to make a statement after Bryce Underwood, kind of laid a stinker in Norman and after Michigan didn't really do a whole lot against the Sooners.
I'll say this tonight against Oklahoma. We'll go to Michigan here for 2 seconds. Michigan ran the football tonight, 4.6 a carry, 32 for 146. First play of the second half, Michigan got the kick, 75-yard touchdown run by another Justice, Haynes this time. But you take that, and it counts. So I'm not saying it wasn't a great play, but you take the 75 away, Michigan ran the football 32 times for 71 yards against the Sooner front seven. Bryce Underwood, 9 of 24 for 142, no interceptions, 5.9 an attempt. Does Nebraska have a defense that can keep a lid on McCulley, 3 catches for 91 yards, keep the Marshall-Haynes duo in check? We don't know. We know what we saw against Cincinnati. We know, to your point, Elijah, they put in a ton of work this week to self-evaluate and go play to what standard they think they need to be at. They're still trying to reach that standard, but it was a good first step. We got another game to evaluate next Saturday, early bird special, and then you go put your best foot forward here around 2:30, 2 weeks, and the 20th of September, where you can put a pelt on the wall. You just don't know, but you like what you see tonight. It's a good response. Great response.
Justin, how much time do you have on the clock here for the On the Air side?
45 and rolling.
45
seconds and rolling.
And then are we digitized or what's this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's a great reminder that though we are wrapping up the on-the-air coverage of the Real Red Reaction Show, you can find us for a little bit of overtime. I'm not sure how late we'll go, but you can find us, either search up the Real Red Reaction Show on YouTube or search up the Average Joe Sports Show on YouTube. That's where you can stream us live and see our lovely faces as we continue here into the late night after a 68-0 victory.
Chuck nails it. Nebraska came out healthy. That was a must-do tonight. We'll sign off here over the air on KFOR, KFORnow.com. Thank you much for tuning in. Follow us over on YouTube with the Average Joe Sports Show, or find and watch on Twitter, AJ Sports Radio. Don't forget more reaction tomorrow at Sunday.
10:30 a.m.-ish on YouTube and wherever else you can get your pots.
There we go.
There you go.
Be quiet and choke that out. And we'll talk to you next time on KFOR.
And we keep it rolling digitally here on the Real Red Reaction Show.
The pause. Jeff Snitley is in, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. Good to see him in Arrowhead.
I think we should go until Justice and I collectively finish our beers. Did you just finish that thing, Justice?
No, I'm about halfway through that.
Yeah, I got about a quarter left. So.
Okay, all right. We'll do that. More comments from you. You can still call. You can patch the phone calls in at 489-1240. Skylar's asking, Chris going to need someone to hold his hair back. Wow.
That's Billy D's job tonight.
That's a wrong take, my friend.
We don't have any beverages here for some reason. Not quite sure what that reason is. All right.
Is that a hint? Give me a sandwich and a beer. Do it now.
Nebraska came out healthy. You're talking about guys getting on page and whatnot. Did anybody notice who was in the game in the final stages of the fourth quarter along the offensive line?
I mean, the guy who cleared the way on Ives's big touchdown
Like,
run.
Elijah Pritchett's got to get on page, here at Nebraska, and it's got to happen before
this week.
Yeah, it's got to happen this week. He wasn't suspended for the game, obviously, as had been reported and rumored. Not that there haven't been some.
He didn't get in real early either.
Last time, the first I really noticed him was in the I think Gramstead, or it might have been when Latif actually scored the touchdown. But that guy, if he is what he is, has been advertised to be and paid to be, the Michigan game is a defining game for both of these teams at this stage of the season. For Michigan, losing to Oklahoma it's problematic for them this season. And if they lose to Nebraska, then they got to say, well, the only thing we can do now to be successful this season is to beat Ohio State.
Right.
And I'm not exactly sure Ohio State is going to be, merciful on Michigan. So I think everything for their season depends on what they do here on September 20th. And Nebraska's has got to elevate its game because, those receivers that were running around open for Dylan Raiola today, the gap's not going to be there in 2 weeks. So receivers got to be better. But look, Pritchett's got to be the guy that they're paying him to be along the offensive line and not be somebody who's getting, duty with the backups late in the fourth quarter of a 68-0 blowout.
Elijah and Justice, we're going to send you to try and grab the audio if at all possible.
Oh, I thought you were going to say get Bill a beverage, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'll go
I can trek across town. We'll be okay.
No, I'll get it. We've got 4 seconds of Joe Moorhead after the ball game.
He really says it all in the 4 seconds.
He does. It's pretty good.
You know
you
what?
guys
I'll
talk amongst yourself.
I get it.
I got you.
Let me pull the Dick Tracy.
I need one too.
I'll pull the Dick Tracy. Okay, Chief. I'll get on it right away.
So what are we going to talk about here while Schmitty's away?
I think we could talk about special teams. Isn't it a good thing that Nebraska didn't have to punt, even though, it might have been sad?
Well, I think that was disappointing. I mean, Husker fans have put the biggest cheer of the night by far. Not one of the many touchdowns Nebraska scored. The biggest cheer of the night was when Archie Wilson was announced to the Memorial Stadium crowd as part of the starting lineups. Bigger cheer than Dylan Raiola or Dane Key or anybody else. But when they said, and the Nebraska starting punter, Archie Wilson, crowd went nuts. I mean, it was pretty cool. He has become so beloved, but I think Husker fans were disappointed that they didn't punt tonight.
But think, if you can make it through a Houston Christian game next weekend with no punts, think about how loud that cheer is going to be from the Michigan game when it's around the 50-yard line. He's got a chance to pin him inside the 10, and here trots Archie Wilson on the field. I was hoping there was like the potential in my mind, like with as deep as the benches are being cleared tonight, like could they throw him in a couple snaps at wide receiver, see if he can go catch a pass? We've heard about his athletic ability outside of punting. Like, can you have him take a few snaps at running back or wide receiver or something of the sort?
What if they just never punt again all season and Archie just becomes one game?
You remember when they were talking about him in the press conference prior to becoming him, a beloved legendary figure? Matt Rule was talking about whether he can throw and he can run and he can do this and do that, and it's like, who's he talking about? And I literally rewound the tape to see, did I miss something here? I thought he was talking about the punter. And then, sure enough, he's talking about how he can run and he can throw and he can do all this and he's got moves and he's physical, and they're talking about the punter. So Husker fans, I guess if there was a disappointment tonight, those who came to the game and may have been to the only Husker game of the season, they did not get a chance to see Archie Wilson punt.
There's always next time. I mean, Iowa saw a lot of punting today, so if you want to get your punting fix, you could always go watch the Hawks drown in dramatic fashion.
Isn't every Iowa State game 16-13? They just alternate who wins each year.
No, it literally is. They just copy and paste it. I feel they just copy and paste it, and they just go, "Oh, we'll just flip a coin for who wins this year." Oh, wait, we'll just stick with the road team. Okay, here we go. But no, they just had to mix it up. The ranked team won, but. Yeah, no, I mean, they could come in. I was talking to my buddies about this. They could both come in with the number 1 and number 2 offenses in the country, and that game would still end 16-13.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And Iowa was gifted 10 points, one by a special teams gaffe and another by a penalty. It was just absolutely insane. I'm just sitting there going, Iowa's playing putrid, and they're still in this game, typical Iowa. They're going to drunkenly stumble their way to this one.
Well, the easiest prediction of the weekend probably should have been that one of those teams won in a walk-off field goal. And it wasn't a walk-off, but it was pretty damn close. Yeah, right. Like, you should have known that was going to be a field goal. That was an ass-kicking of epic proportions.
We have good audio.
Screw it, we can play it again. It's only a 5-second clip. Here's Joe Moorhead, his thoughts on the Nebraska Akron performance as his team fell 68-0.
That was an ass kicking of epic proportions in every facet of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Just perfectly encapsulated it. He was also quoted somewhere as saying that there was 2 different levels of football being played tonight, and I kind of totally agree with that. It just looked like Nebraska looked like a real Power 5, top tier conference contender, and Akron looked like a team that was struggling to survive out there. I mean, it was 2 different levels of play.
We joked
start the show now.
We joked in our pregame show that maybe Millard South could give Akron for a run for their money, and I was like, no way.
No, they might be able to. We might have to have some conversation.
What'd I miss?
You want to play Joe Moorhead again?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. All right, Joe Moorhead after the ball game.
Portions.
I interrupted him. Forgive me. One more time.
That was an ass kicking of epic proportions in every facet of the game.
There you go. Don't upset Matt Rule ever again.
It seemed personal. It seemed like Matt Rule was still pissed off about getting beat when he was at Temple by Joe Moorhead's Fordham Rams. And Fordham came in here and played a few years back. I don't think Joe Moorhead was there, but it seemed like there was it was personal tonight for some reason, and I guess that was one way of motivating his team. I do think. Look, I know you got to take him one game at a time.
Well,
Nebraska's got to be moving on to Michigan, and you got a Michigan State team that's wounded after getting beat today too.
I'm not sure it was personal. I think that's just Dana. I don't think taking the foot off the gas is in his vocabulary. I don't think he believes in that one bit. And Matt Rule talked about it briefly, saying they knew TJ needed to get some actual reps out there. That's why he's throwing the football around. But yeah, I mean, even Gramstad was throwing the football around. I just don't think Dana changes his offense. It's either just stop us. That's
Sparty won in overtime.
Oh, they did.
They went for 2 and got it.
Oh, I thought they got beaten overtime.
No, they got it. Now UCLA decided to show some heart and came back. They were getting trashed by UNLV, but they still lost 30-23.
So they're 0-2 to start the season.
Minnesota won 66 rip. SC in the Clay Helton Bowl prevailed. Indiana impressive. Iowa fell. Illinois on the strength of 5 dick turnovers. But Illinois looked pretty good.
5 what turnovers?
Duke.
I heard something else.
Duke.
Not Duke.
I thought
Pete Gillen said Duke a lot.
I watched a little bit of that Illinois Duke game, and I'm thinking that people thought that was a basketball game, and their fans were at Cameron Indoor, where they didn't realize the season began, because that was a very sparse crowd, for a Duke program that had been getting better, and that there had been interest. And Illinois is coming to town.
Best thing ever to happen for Altmaier is playing Manny Diaz 2 years ago and getting worked. And he learned from it and knew how to fix it. And Illinois looks pretty good. Going to be a hell of a September 20th. Not only Nebraska, Michigan, but you got Indiana, Illinois that day. More ball games. Wisconsin is found a little bit of an offense. But to your point, Elijah, about Dana being Dana, he's going to, represent on the sideline.
And
B, he's going to say, hey, you don't like it, stop it. And C, he's going to try and get guys ready. He has a very healthy approach to knowing football and what teams need in major conference action and when they need him. And that'll be November if somebody goes down.
Well, and it's also a nice audition for him because if Dana wants to get back in the road of head coaching, it does look pretty good on the resume to stick 68 on somebody that you should be punching around. I will say that. I mean, ruthlessness aside, it does look good for him on the resume if he gets Nebraska's offense.
Is he getting a phone call from Stillwater at the end of the year?
No. Lord, if I'm the AD there, I'm giving him a ring. I'm giving a couple people, and I'm giving Dana's on the list.
Or maybe you give Dana another 1.5 to stick.
Yeah.
Just call plays here, dude. Don't even worry about recruiting.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to get into the head coaching realm other than to get a big fat check and get fired?
Think if you're Moorhead, though. You were at Oregon making great money. You bounced around a couple of spots at coordinator. You've been at Penn State. You've been at Minnesota, I think, right? Was he at Minnesota?
Might have been.
But he was at Penn State under Franklin, and that's.
I'm just, those.
And now he's going to get blown out at Akron. It'll be a mercy killing.
I just think as football moves generationally in a direction that we've not seen, those coaches that have been around for 1 and 2 different generations, why would you want to go into
this
again, unless it's to get he's making $4 million regardless, but why would you want to get into this business at this stage? It's a young man.
Because you like being your own boss.
I get it. Well, he is his own boss. You think Matt Rule has any say over what happens with Nebraska's offense? You just tell me what's going on, and I'm going to do my podcast.
If push came to shove, he could. That's the only way this thing doesn't keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
and Matt Rule's not the type of guy to be insecure. He's clearly a guy that is going to go hire the best, go recruit the best, and preach his competition.
And let him.
So he wants
do their
people,
job, and he's letting Dino Anderson do his job
to challenge him within the staff. That's super healthy.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. John Butler's probably doing that a little bit, but he's got Phil Snow, in the same room at the same time as Rule's eyes and ears and Consigliere, and then let Mike Eckler do whatever Mike Eckler is going to do and the way he wants to do it, and stay the hell out of the way. But old school coaches in this era of college football, I think it's just a really, really tough job, and the adjustment period of having to recruit 8th and 9th graders and get your star recruit. Nebraska had Trey Taylor here, and people forget he's just in his junior season. And to think that you want to be a head coach and have to worry about what your star recruit from 2 years down the road is still thinking, I just think that's a tough game.
Well, and also, think about the monetary value and, the long-term impact that this could have. If Dana decides to stay, beyond the 2-year contract that he's got right now and he wants to build something, if Nebraska goes to the heights that they anticipate, we could be talking about a guy who won't have to pay for a meal in Lincoln for a long, long time. It could just be like that because Husker fans are very remembrant, very forgiving. And always keep in mind, the people around there, you remember Charlie McBride, we have him around, he's a guy who, if he sets foot in Lincoln, people know who he is. He won't have to buy a meal for all he's done. It's the same with Tom. If Dana has the same impact, if Matt has the same impact, they're not going to have to foot the bill for anything in this town.
Well, they do it because they love it. You want to be revered for sure. And there's the reckoning that goes with greatness. But it's not for everybody. it's just for a select few that can make it happen. So, and Kobe, I think you're right on here, dude. It says Dana talks like he just loves being the OC. Just let me call plays. Let me go coach ball. And he still really ticked off how it went in Houston, and he should be. He's a good coach at West Virginia too. And, he'll be ready to rock. We are set to rock tomorrow. More on Nebraska, more on Akron, more on the future of 2025 with the Average Joe Sports Show as Sunday Live gets going at 10:30 on YouTube. Find us, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Also follow on AJ Sports Radio, AJ Sports Pod. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp, Elijah Herbal, Chris Schmidt. Real Red Reaction. We're on the digital side now with Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens, 14th and Pine Lake, 84th and Old Cheney.
And before we get out of here, guys, I do want to ask a question. Round table it here. I think this could be a good place to close the show. What is the word you're using to describe this Husker performance tonight?
Dominant.
That's what I was going to say.
I also think something about it was cathartic. There was that
necessary.
Necessary is a good word. There was a weight that's lifted off the shoulders just a little bit whenever you see a performance like that.
I'll say surgical.
Ooh.
It was just surgical. They just picked them apart in every single facet.
Okay, I'm going to go generational on you. It was nostalgic.
Well done.
Not since the 1970s have I seen a number 35 at running back produce many yards the way Mekhi Nelson did in Rick Burns-esque ways.
Richard Burns.
How's that?
Richard.
I was watching him going, I can't even think of another number 35 that had a huge impact with Nebraska football since Rick Burns led Nebraska to its win over Oklahoma in 1978, only to be upset by Missouri the following week, and then being forced to play Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl in a rematch, which was absolutely ludicrous. So I thought tonight was nostalgic. It took me back, as I said, when I first got on the air, to the 1980s in non-conference games where Nebraska would roll over state and directional institutions and hapless teams 68-0. Look it up. Nebraska beat New Mexico State in a non-conference game in September, 68-0, and that was exactly what this game was like. Nebraska did what it was supposed to do, should do. I think Akron, unfortunately, is one of the worst teams that's ever played at Memorial Stadium. God bless them the rest of the way. I hope they win a couple of games in the MAC. I hope they spend their money wisely. I felt bad for them, and there's a lot of games like this around the country this week. ESPN and Fox, and where they do this is Redemption Week, and this is Rivalry Saturday, and all this. This was one of the worst matchup weekends of football that I can recall all across the country. Yeah, we had Oklahoma State and Oregon, and we had Michigan, Oklahoma as probably the highlight marquee game of the week. Illinois Duke didn't turn out to be very good. What was that, 3 points, or was the line? That was bad. There were some really, really god-awful matchups this week, and they were simply games to get home crowds in, give fat checks to schools that need it, and tune yourself up for conference play, which comes a little sooner than it used to back in the days when you'd play 4 non-conference games and then play 7 conference games in the Big 8, and then you go play a bowl game. But this was, okay, I forgot Iowa State and Iowa. But again, that was just a repeat of every Iowa State game ever played. But there was bad games, and Nebraska did what it was supposed to do. So good on the Huskers. They got to do it again next week, and they will, and it won't be nearly as big a margin of victory. They'll probably go for the shutout, but won't be as ruthless in doing it, and then set themselves up for Michigan.
Join us tomorrow, Sunday Live, with the Average Joe Sports Show. Thanks for joining us tonight with Real Red Reaction, powered by Slim Chickens. Elijah, appreciate you, brother. Justice, thank you much. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman, thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
for the
to Bill.
beverage.
Thanks to Bill Hooks for popping in, hanging out, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow, 10:30, Sunday Live, Average Joe Sports Show. Big thanks to the Single Barrel for having us out here Friday and Saturday pregame, and winding it down tonight. Happy group here, still reveling at the bar here in the Single Barrel. We'll talk to you in the morning with the Average Joe Sports Show, Sunday Live. Take care. Talk soon.